Now I want to begin talking with you about mathematical operations. So let's say we want to have the user input a number and then input a second number and then have JavaScript return the sum of those two numbers. Well, you would think that that would be accomplished with a script that's very similar to the one that we just did. So I, in fact, have the JS08A script already opened up on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and save that as another name, js09.htm. This will be our next series of JavaScripts here. Now, I'm going to, at this point, go to the title of this document, and I'm going to call this Working with Addition. And instead of asking for input that's going to be first and last name, I'm going to change the variable to first num, or first number. And I'm going to also input a second number. Okay, and instead of saying please enter your first name, please enter a number. And then instead of entering the last name, a second number. Okay, now document write, I'm going to get rid of these H2 tags here because they won't be necessary. And instead, I'm going to write the sum is equal to, and then I'm going to add these two numbers together. But I'm going to do that, instead of making this really lengthy, I'm going to do that by using a variable called sum. So I'm going to highlight that text, first name plus last name here, and I'm going to just put that number here. And I'm going to create a variable sum equal to first num plus second num. And you'll see that this doesn't give us the expected results. I'm going to save this document, and I'm going to open up Internet Explorer again. I'm going to take JS09, wherever it might be here, and drag it into the Explorer window. And I'm going to type in 30 for the first number, and I'm going to type in 19 for the second number. And click OK and watch what happens. Sure enough, we do not get the proper result. The sum is equal to 3019. We don't get the value 49, which is the value we would get if we were just adding those numbers together. Well, this is a cause for a great deal of consternation for new users of JavaScript. So I'm going to give you an answer which is going to be based on a mathematical function, which we can do to the text that actually has been entered from those two prompts. So the main thing to understand when you're using prompts in JavaScript is that they return textual values. And when you add a textual value to another textual value, or a string to another string, you don't get a number, you get a string. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the value of the text. Actually, the text is going to be converted into a number here. And we're going to do that with a function called parseInt. And we take that information that was entered as a string and we convert it into an integer. That's what that means, parseInt. So it means take the text that was entered in and change it to a number, an integer number in this case. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to make the first number, 30, in this case, a number, and we're going to take the second number, 19, make that a number, and then we're going to add those two together. That plus sign is the addition mathematical operator, and it is the same operator as the concatenation operator that we've seen that's used between strings. So then document write, the sum is equal to sum. Now I'm going to save this out as JS09A.htm. And we're going to take that, pop it in here, and enter the same information in, 30, and then 19, and now we get the proper answer. The sum is equal to 49. So that is something that's very important when you're working with strings and you're trying to use them as numbers. You're not going to get the right results, and in fact, you may get error messages rather than just wrong results. And you have to go back in your code and change those strings into text values before you actually operate on them.